Hi everyone, my name's Allison and thank you for visiting my channel Get Up and Go Florida. I've actually been avoiding finishing this review video because I really wanted to give this company a chance to resolve some of the issues that we had with them. I had already finished shooting about 75% of this video with the intention of creating a really fun review with lots of footage of my boyfriend and I paddleboarding on our new boards with our dog. However, I decided to finally finish this video as is and post it because at this point we are going to return the boards. I realize this is what a review video is meant for, to tell you, a potential future customer, what my experience was, whether it was good or bad. So feel free to watch the whole thing, or you can skip ahead to what didn't work for us and my final thoughts on ordering a Gili 10'6" air inflatable stand-up paddleboard. Thanks. All right, so just to tell you a little bit about me, I would consider myself an average person, your average consumer. I'm not overly athletic, and I'm definitely not a paddleboard expert. I've gone paddleboarding about 10 times, more or less. I've tried both the hard paddleboards and the inflatable paddleboards. When my boyfriend and I started to look at buying a paddleboard for ourselves, we wanted something that was affordable, easy to use, and also would work with our lifestyle. First of all, we don't have a car that would support a really long or heavy paddleboard to transport to different locations. So we needed something that was easy to pack up, pick up, and take anywhere we wanted to go. Price obviously was a huge factor, and these paddleboards come in at a very low cost compared to other brands. In addition, like I said, neither of us is overly athletic, so we wanted something that was considered an all-around board, something that was meant to take out, have fun with, play, as well as have good stability for people that are not incredibly super stable, or have good stability for people that, we really aren't professional sportsmen or surfers or anything like that. So that's why we bought this board, and we're going to let you know how it works out. All right, so one reason we looked at purchasing the Gili paddleboards, as I mentioned, was the price. So let's talk cost. When we were looking at paddleboards, both hard and inflatable, the cost can range anywhere from a couple $100s to well over $1,000, depending on what you're looking at. One of the brands we were looking at, the Isle inflatable paddleboards, ran about $600 to $800, depending on which website we were using. Those boards are gorgeous, but when we found the Gili boards, we realized we could save a lot of money. Each board was priced at $465. When we purchased the paddleboards, they were running a special that if you bought two, you got $80 off. So we spent a total of $850 on our paddleboards. That includes the paddleboard and all the equipment you need. We'll get into that in a bit. This was such a better deal than any other paddleboards that we could find on the market that also had good ratings. We did the research, and Gili paddleboards consistently had very good ratings, and for the price, we just couldn't beat it. So we decided to give it a try. As for price, I would give it 5 stars. So we purchased our Gili paddleboards on May 2nd. They were predicted to arrive May 11th, and they actually showed up 2 days early on May 9th. So it really only took about a week for the paddleboards to arrive. I do want to mention that the shipping was free and included with our purchase, which was fantastic. The boxes that arrived were smaller than I expected and lighter than I expected as well. That was really nice for being able to transport the boxes from our front door to our garage and where we were going to start unpacking them. So your average individual could definitely pick these up and carry these boxes around. They're not overly large. This clip shows us opening up our boxes and unpacking them. Expect it to take between 7 to 10 minutes to open up the box, take out all the gear, and remove the packaging. Don't be surprised if you experience a moderate plastic smell. It reminded me of opening up a fresh pool toy, which is basically what this is. I'd imagine that will go away with a little bit of time, water, and air exposure. Shown here is everything that comes with your purchase. On the left, you have the color blue, and on the right, you have the color teal. What's included is a backpack to store all of the equipment in, a folded up paddle board, a 3-piece extendable paddle, an adjustable strap, a detachable fin, an air pump with tubing, a repair kit, fun stickers, a manual, and for extra we opted to add in 2 waterproof cases. You also get a 2-year warranty as well as a leash to make sure the board doesn't get away from you. And sorry, the dog is not included. We will be looking at each of these pieces individually in just a moment. For the backpack, my favorite part is how easy it is to fit everything inside. Even after using the boards, they fold back up and fit in nicely without any struggle. Make sure to use the chest and waist straps to make the bags fit more comfortably. Our bags weighed 29.2 pounds each when fully loaded, so easy enough on flat level ground to and from the water, but I would not recommend a day hike or steep climbing with these packs. So the front of the board has a nice handle that's great for lifting up, dragging through the water, and just an extra place to hold on to if needed. We have these awesome bungee cords that are great for strapping in extra gear, shoes, water bottles, backpacks, whatever it may be. The pad where your feet stand is nice and comfortable here with a handle right in the center for carrying. There's also additional rings on each side, here, there, and there, for a total of 4. That means you can strap on other bungee cords, kayak seats, whatever it may be that you want to add on. In the back, there's also 4 more rings for additional gear and bungee cords as well. As long as you're following the directions, this pump is really easy to use. Right on top are the numbers of the PSI. It has a low range, a target range, and an overinflated range. That way you know exactly where you need to be at a minimum and a maximum. When you're looking here at the board, there's a little dial. You unscrew it to open it up. Take the gray side here, twist it in, make sure this button, yellow button, is up. You'll hear the difference if you press it down. Make sure to keep it up for inflation. Screw that on there. There you go. Once it's inflated, make sure to undo this. The air automatically self-seals, so you don't have to worry about losing a lot of air. And then you just put the cap back on. Make sure to close it. You ready to go? So one thing to pay attention to when you're pumping up the paddle boards is that there's a little button on the side of the pump. This is very important, okay? When you first start, you want to have the button pushed in. That allows you to pump more volume at a faster speed. But once the pressure starts building up, it will get very, very difficult to lift the pump and to keep going. That was a mistake I made. So I recommend once you hit about 0, 1, or 2 PSI, go ahead and unpress that button. It's going to make it much easier to pump up. You can read the directions there. Once it's easier to pump up, that'll allow you to get up to the 12 to 15 PSI that are recommended at a much more comfortable, easy pace. Unfortunately, one of the boards arrived defective, which we discovered when we tried to take the boards out for the first time. The fin would not go into its proper place, no matter how hard we tried, and it was just a small manufacturing error, but it wasn't working. The other board worked just fine, and the fin went on great. So we have now taken the fin that fit on the first board and are trying it on the defective board to see if it's the fin that's the problem or the actual binding on the board that's the problem.
There's a whole bunch of junk.
I believe it's the binding on the board. When we zoom in, there's a lot of stuff in this corner that looks like almost like a glue or a resin or something. Like maybe they had maybe there was an issue in this corner as it was getting put together. So the fin does not fit. So unfortunately, the fin is not the issue. It's the actual board itself, which sucks. I emailed and called customer support on May 12th. They responded quickly at first and helped guide us towards submitting a claim. I submitted the claim the evening of May 14th and received a notice that they would follow up with me in 1 business day. Having not heard back 2 business days later, I sent another email to check on the status. They emailed back the next day saying that everything should be approved soon and that I should be receiving a return shipping label soon. Again, I emailed them 2 business days later, having not heard anything again. No response. I emailed them again 2 business days after that, still no response. It has now been 11 days in total, and a total of 6 business days since I first submitted the claim, with no real response as to whether our replacement was going to be approved or when I would receive a return shipping label, other than it should be soon. Unfortunately, we already had to cancel our first paddling plans because of the mishap, and now due to this waiting game, we may have to cancel more plans that we had already made, assuming that we would have 2 functioning paddle boards at this point in time. So, as a result, I have decided to just return both boards now and order new ones from a local surf shop. I do not have any footage of us actually paddleboarding, and unfortunately, due to the fact that we never got out on the water, I cannot tell you anything about how the board rides or about its stability. I will say that inflatable paddleboards do have a lot more bounce to them than compared to their solid counterparts. So if you are planning on doing any riding in mildly windy areas or anywhere that might have some mild chop to it in the water, you might want to go with more of a solid board. So overall, due to the fact that one of our boards arrived defective, the company seems really small, and customer service does not seem to be open on weekends and is very slow in processing claims, I would say skip purchasing this board and try to get one in person if possible. I hope that they fix these issues in the future so that if any of you decide to purchase one of their boards, you have only positive things to say. It really does seem like a company that has very good intentions, and I do wish them the best and lots of future happy customers. In the end, I think the best thing you can do if you're interested in getting a new paddleboard is go rent some in person, try out different styles, and then go to a local shop that might carry those brands. All right, thank you.
What are you at? 10. You gotta get to a minimum of 12? Don't know. Hey look, paddleboarding.